Here we will introduce a couple of business or economics concepts that we'll use throughout the semester. Supply and demand. There's a couple different ways to write this. Sometimes it's based off of quantity, sometimes it's based off of price, but the two interact with each other in the way I've got mine set up. Supply is going to be a function of quantity, so we're talking about the price for a certain quantity. So supply, that's the price the manufacturer is willing to charge per item when supplying Q items. So you should understand that the supplier wants to charge as much as possible, but they can only sell so many items at certain prices. So the more they charge, the less they will sell, even though they want to charge as much as possible. Demand, D of Q, this is the price the consumer is willing to pay when there's so many items on the market. So if something's in very limited quantities, that raises the demand and people are willing to pay more. But if you can find it anywhere and everywhere, then usually it's fairly cheap because there's too many of them and it's not hard to find. You don't have to fight over it. Okay? So the supply and the demand are used to kind of determine the price. And then we're going to talk about equilibrium point, which is where the supply and demand functions would meet. Okay? So the price that kind of works best for both the manufacturer and the consumer. Okay? So let's slide down here and try and do a couple of functions. Sorry, things are not going perfect right now. Here we go. So, example. A manufacturer will charge a price of P equals 50 plus 8Q when making Q items. So that's the supply. So the supply of Q items is 50 plus 8Q, and that's going to give us a price, what the supplier wants to charge if it makes Q items. So if it makes just a few, it'll probably charge a lot, but if it makes a lot of them, it will not charge as much because they're going to make the money off of quantity. The market selling price based on demand is P equals 100 minus 4Q. So the demand function, D of Q equals 100 minus 4Q. So the more things are out there, the less people are willing to pay for them. Okay, that's the demand. If you go to a car lot and there's only one that you like, you're probably willing to pay more than if they have 100 of them. Then you have some to choose from, and they want to get rid of them. Who benefits? Okay, I said find the equilibrium price and quantity, so I never finished this problem up here. So we've got to figure that out. So basically, what we're going to do is we're going to set these two functions equal to each other. 50 plus 8Q equals 100 minus 4Q. And so we'll solve this. We'll get our Q's on one side, so we'll have 12Q, and we'll take our 50 over, so we'll have equals 50. So if I divide that out, let's see if it gives me a nice number. 50 divided by 12, about 4 point something here. So let's see, 4.2-ish. So this is a quantity. So if we were to round that off and make it realistic, we'd probably go with 4. So 4 is the equilibrium quantity. And then if we want to do the price, we should be able to do that in either one. And since I rounded it, it'd probably vary a little bit. But let's do it with the supplier. 50 plus 8 times 4. So that'd be 50 plus 32, so that looks like the price would be about $82. So $82 you can sell 4 of them. That kind of meets the demand and the supplier. And like I said, we rounded that off to a whole number, so it's not exactly perfect, so we might want a more realistic problem. But it says here, who benefits if the price is higher than the equilibrium point? So if the price is higher, okay, so in that case, the person who benefits is the supplier. Why? Because they're going to make more money, okay? Because if the price is above the equilibrium point, that means that they are actually selling it for more than what people will actually pay. Who benefits if the quantity is higher than the equilibrium point? Okay, if the quantity is higher than the equilibrium point, then the consumer benefits, because in that case there's too many of them and the price will have to go down. Okay, so if the quantity is higher, that means the price will go down. In this case, so we'll say that would be a lower price. Okay, so now let's try and make a graph down here to kind of show this, and my functions are not in the best place, so let's see if we can do it. Hold on while I pull a graph in here. Okay, I need to pull my functions down here where I can see them so I don't have to go back up to the top over and over. But supply 50 plus 8Q to demand 100 minus 4Q. So let's just set our graph up to be in tens. Our price would be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. And we'll label those as needed. And I'm just going off of that because I know this thing right here, the demand starts at 100 and goes down. So the demand price, if there's not many of them, never goes over 100, it looks like. And from the equilibrium up there, we said that we knew the equilibrium quantity was 4. So let's just kind of come across here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We want to keep going to 5, 6, 7. We'll go over to 8. So let's just kind of see what we've got here. In our study of lines, what we have here is the supply, and we'll make it green here. So we'll make this supply green. It is 50 plus 8Q. So that's a y-intercept of 50, and every time I go up 8, I go over 1. So I'm just estimating here. So I go over to about 58, 1. And then if I go up another 1, another 8, that'll be about 66. I'll be over here at 2. And then 3, if I'm just estimating here without something, oh, it didn't take, 66, 2. And then 3 times that, 24, so I'll be up at 74. It still didn't take. Why does it keep erasing my dot? And then 4 would be, we said 82. I'm just trying to make a line here. And so I believe we're at 90 by the time we get to 5. So our supply curve, well, line here looks like this. So this is my S. And then my demand, let's make it a different color. Let's make it red here. Starts at 100 and goes down by 4. So it should be about 96 when I hit 1. It should be about 92 when I hit 2. 88 when I hit 3. And now we're going to cross over. And my marks are a little bit off. But what we see here, not perfect, but the equilibrium point in here. And that should be around the 4 mark, even though my diagram's a little bit off. Graph paper helps. But that kind of gives you the idea. The price will go up as the supplier is willing to charge more if they make more items. The consumer pays less if there's more items. Okay, so that's the supply and demand relationship.